Hi, good morning, everyone. Today is February 1st, and today is the Lunar New Year, right? Everybody know Lunar New Year, right? They can say Chinese New Year. The Asian people celebrate their New Year today. The Lunar New Year is a little bit different with the New Year around the world, and they a little bit different. You see, their New Year's is between about mid-January and February, around that. It's a little bit later than the New Year we just celebrated there. So on the Chinese New Year, their calendar is a little bit different with us, and they use the animal for each year. So they have a 12 animal for 12 year. And today is the year of the tiger. Okay. So tiger, right? They are very strong animal, and they live in the wild, and they like to live like a group like that, just like a family. Okay. So tiger, you can see that most in the like Singapore, Chinese. Okay, so I just want they very similar. Uh, they have a color like orange and black. You see the picture right there. That kind of the tiger, and you can. This is the family tiger with cup right there. You see that? This they call the Sumatran tiger. Okay, most of the tigers look similar, just the same color and the same stripe. Just because they live in a different country, so they use the name of the country to call them. And tiger is a black-cat cat. They call cat, but they are big cat. Okay, they are pretty big. They strong and they powerful. Okay, so the tiger when they born, most time they blind. When they just born, they blind. They cannot see anything for a while, and most of the cub is just a half of them can be survived. Okay, it's hard to raise a tiger cub. Okay, and the tiger love to swim. They like to swim and they like to play under the water. They like it. And the tiger life is about 25 years. And you think the tiger they don't afraid of anything? What do you think? The tiger they fear of the fire. Most of the wild animal they don't like fire, okay? Because it's hot, right? So they don't like fire. They fear about that, and they don't like the loud noise. So when you see the animal like bear, tiger, lion, you can, if you want to scare them away, you can make very very loud noise and they will run away. Okay, and tiger, the Chinese zodiac tiger, the meaning of that is a brave and confident because they said tiger is a big one, so they powerful, they strong, so they very brave and they very confident. Okay, so um, that's how they talk about tiger, and this year 2022 is a year of the tiger. So today I will show you how to draw a tiger. First, we just want to see a different tiger a little bit here. So this is a Sumatran tiger, and let's see the other one. Um, that's the South China tiger. See, they look very similar. Okay, they just live in South China. The other one in the other country, and we have something more. Let's say Bengal tiger. This one is white. The white tiger is very rare. You don't see that a lot. Okay, especially right now, they have the white tiger is ready to fight them. Okay, and yes, you see, Bengal tiger they can have a orange and they can have a white too. So look at them. It's a beautiful animal, right? and I love tiger, and especially the white tiger. They very special. They very rare. Okay, so right now I will show you how to draw the tiger. Okay, so get ready. Wow. Don't worry about that. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, so we will draw the tiger today. So you see the tiger, it looks half, but it's not really. Okay, so we always start with the head first. Okay, so the tiger head, obviously, is by the round thing like that. Okay, the half of the round circle. And you see the ear of the tiger is in the round shape too. So we just okay. So that's the ear for the tiger. Okay, so let's see. We have an eye here. And we have a nose right here. Everything you see just a half of cycle circle. Okay, so grandma here, like here. Okay. And you have a circle right here. Okay. Chin here. And the eye you can and you see the tiger they are relative with cat, right? They look have they have a some hair right here. Okay. Okay, so that's the head for the tiger. We will go to the side in high after we finish the whole shape first. Okay. Okay, so now we go to the body. So this one leg. Okay. And now okay. So this one we just finished left right there. Connect this one here. Okay. And this one, the finish this one. Okay, so that's the front leg. So now we go back.
Like this. Back up.
Okay, so this one.
Like that. Okay. Ew.
This one down here. Okay, so this. Okay. So we go to this way, like that. Okay, and the tiger long tail. So this will be the tail here. Okay, so you have the shape, basic shape of the tiger. Right now you just draw the stripe in the skin of the tiger here. They have stripe. So that's thing easy. So you just like right here. Okay. Some right here. Some right here. Yeah. And right here you just draw any stripe anywhere you want. Just like this. A little bit here. And some up here. You can do some short, some long. It's up to you. It's just a style. Okay. And some here. So with the stripe, you just draw easy like this. Just some line here. And even the tail of the tiger, they have some stripe too, right? So just like this. Okay, so you have your tiger. Not easy, huh? And after that, you can color the tiger. Usually they have a dark orange or the dark yellow. And the stripe you can do that color. Okay. So who finished your tiger? You want to show your friend? You did? Okay, Matt. Matt đây là. Okay, you can go this way, Matt. Go this way.
This way?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, that's Mark his tiger right here, everyone. Good job, Mark. Very good. Thank you, Mark. Okay, good night. Vicky. Okay, Vicky turn. You want to show her friend here? Patricia, did you try to do that? Okay, let's see. Wow. Oh, she got 3 tiger. Good job. So that's her tiger right there. Very good, Vicky. Thank you. Now you can color your tiger. And make sure. Okay, who next? Mark, got tired? Okay, your turn. Okay, let's see, Mark. Okay, wow, look at that. Mark Mattia, his tiger. Very good, Mark. Thank you. Good job. Who next? Shannon, do you have your tiger done? You want to show your friend? Okay. How about you, Vicky? Vicky, you have anything to show friend? No? How about Rochelle? Rochelle, you have anything to show your friend? Not done yet, huh? Travis, you the best. Okay, let's see. You want to go this way to show your friend? Okay, let's see. Travis and his tiger. Look at that. Very good, Travis. Whoa, you're a big artist. Thank you. Very good. Good job. Okay, everybody did a good job. Anyone to show your friend? Anyone? Shannon, okay, come here. Let's see, your tiger. Okay, let's see. Turn this way, turn this way. Yeah. That's her Shannon tiger. Yay! Good job, Shannon. Thank you. Good job. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Katie? Okay. Let's see, Katie. Let's see. Show your friend. Okay, here, Katie, and his big tap right there. Thank you, Katie. Okay, Rochelle, you want to show your friend? Okay, Rochelle almost done. Okay. So everybody did a good job today, okay? And now you know how to draw the tiger, right? And the tiger and the cat is similar, but the tiger is the bigger, stronger. And they live in the wild. You cannot have a tiger at home. Okay. Okay, here, Rochelle. Let's see. Okay, good job, Rochelle. Okay, let's here. Thank you, Rochelle. Good job. Okay.
We wear boots today, twin.
Yes, we did. You and me.
We're twins.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Rochelle. Okay. Thank you, everyone. You did a very good job today, and hopefully you enjoy your tiger, and we see you next week. Okay. Bye, everyone. See you next week. Thank you.
She can read. No, she can read. Yeah, okay. So she does. What about me?
Bye, Dave.
Guys, they asked me to read some more. Yay, and the trumpet does this. Wow. I just like to show you first that with these extra safety measures we have with the mask and the shield, how much fun I have all day long trying to put my glasses on. Oh, no, darn, this isn't the wind. Okay, and shake. No, I can't see now. So, yeah, I do that a lot all the time. It's not fun. But to our book, The Trumpet of the Swan, our little trumpeter swan is now up to chapter 16. He has been in Boston and he's gotten himself a job floating, I guess you go swimming ahead of a swan-shaped boat and playing his beautiful music while people in the swan-shaped boat take a ride around on the lake. And they are enjoying him. He's very famous now. So now we're up to this part. Lewis worked all the last week of September for the Swan Boat man in Boston Public Garden. He was a great success and becoming famous. On Saturday, the boatman paid him $100 in cash, which Lewis placed carefully in his money bag. He's getting paid $100 a week to do this. The boatman, after paying the first night's bill at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, decided to let Lewis sleep on the lake instead of in the hotel, and this suited Lewis better, probably because of the 7 watercress sandwiches he ordered up on his room service bill. So Lewis slept with the ducks and the geese on the lake, floating gracefully on the surface of the water, his head tucked into his wing. Lewis took good care of his trumpet. He kept it polished, and once a week he cleaned the spit out of it. That's the thing you have to do with your trumpets. He learned new songs whenever he could by listening to people's radios and by attending concerts. He was very good at remembering music he had heard. He was really a natural-born musician, or in his case, a natural. The song he liked was Beautiful Dreamer, Wake Unto Me. Oh, isn't that a pretty song? You guys remember that? Whenever he played it, he thought of Serena, and always when he finished it, the passengers on the Swan Boat clapped loudly and cheered. Lewis liked applause. It made him feel lighthearted and happy. Sometimes, at the end of the afternoon, Lewis played Now the Day is Over, which was, kind of like when he was at the playing taps. He made it sound sweet and sad. One afternoon, when he was leaving the last trip of the day, he played the Cradle Song by Brahms. That's the one, lullaby and good night. And the passengers sang the words. Nice. A boy in the front seat of the boat pulled an air rifle from under his jacket and began shooting BB shots at Lewis's trumpet.
Okay.
That doesn't sound nice. Whenever a shot hit the horn, it made a bing sound. So the cradle song sounded something like this. Lullaby, bing, and good night, bing. With roses bent light, bing, bing. The children on the boat roared with laughter when they heard this, but the grown-up passengers were angry. I mean, what if that boy might have hit Lewis? One of them seized the boy's rifle. Another went home that night and wrote a letter to the Boston Globe newspaper urging stronger gun control law for BB guns, I guess. On some afternoons, at the end of the day, people gathered on the shores of the lake to listen while Lewis played taps. It was a peaceful scene, a memorable hour. The Swan Boat had never enjoyed such popularity or made such a lot of money for the owner. But Lewis knew that the boats would not run all winter. In a few days, the boats would be hauled out for the season to wait quietly for the arrival of spring. One day, when Lewis was waiting for the boat to take its passengers aboard, a Western Union messenger appeared on a bicycle. "I have a telegram for the Swan," he said. The boatman seemed surprised, but he took the telegram and handed it to Lewis, who opened it promptly. It was from a man in Philadelphia. The message said, "Wow, can offer you $500 a week for nightclub spot. 10-week engagement. Please reply. Signed, Abe Lucky Lucas, Hotel Nemo. Lewis did some quick figuring. $500 a week for 10 weeks. That was $5,000. $5,000 would easily pay his father's debt to the music store. He took his slate and wrote, offer accepted. Arrive tomorrow. Meet me at Bird Lake in the zoo. Splashdown will be at 4:52 p.m. I hope this will be a convenient time for you. Lewis showed the message to the Western Union boy, who copied it on a telegraph blank. Send it collect, said Lewis. The messenger nodded and rode away. Lewis stepped back into the water, the boat's lines were cast off, and Lewis led the way. So here he is reading his little telegram down there on the ground. Pretty exciting, $5,000 for 10 weeks. So, oops, again, I got 2 pages together, that will not work. He knew it was his last appearance with the Swan Boat, and he felt a little sad. It was a warm, quiet Sunday afternoon, the last Sunday in September. Lewis played all his favorite tunes. Lazy River, Beautiful Dreamer, Oh Ever in the Greening Spring, Now the Day is Over, and then, as the boat neared the dock, he raised his trumpet and blew taps. The last note echoed from the walls of the Ritz and lingered over the public garden. It was a sad farewell. For the people of Boston, it meant the end of summer. For the boatman, it meant the end of the best business week he ever had. For Lewis, it meant the end of another chapter in his adventurous life out in the big world, trying to earn enough money to get his father and himself out of trouble. Lewis slept peacefully that night, being very careful that his money bag was safe. Next day, he flew to Philadelphia to keep his appointment with Mr. Lucas. Lucky Lucas. The telegram. Now, Lewis had no trouble in finding Philadelphia. Almost anybody can find Philadelphia who tries. Lewis simply rose into the air with all his things around his neck, and when he was about 1,000 feet high, he followed the railroad tracks to Providence, New London, New Haven, Bridgeport, Stamford, Coscoff, Greenwich, Port Chester, Rye, Mamaroneck, New Rochelle, Pelham, Mount Vernon, and the Bronx. When he saw the Empire State Building, he veered off to the right and crossed the Hudson River and followed the railroad tracks to Newark and Trenton and pointed south. At 4:30, he reached the Schuylkill River. Just beyond, he spied the Philadelphia Zoo. Bird Lake looked very attractive from the air. It was crowded with waterfowl of all kinds, ducks and geese mostly. Lewis thought he also saw 2 or 3 swans. He circled, picked an open spot, and exactly at 4:52, he splashed down. His trumpet banged against his slate knocked against his metal rapped against his chalk pencil, and his chalk pencil on its string wound itself around his money bag. All in all, the splashdown caused quite a commotion. The ducks and geese were not expecting anything like this to happen. A big white trumpeter swan dropping down out of the sky, loaded with personal possessions. Well, Lewis paid no attention to the other birds. He had a date to keep. He saw a man leaning on the wide railing in front of the birdhouse. The man was dressed in a purple suit and wore a Tyrolean hat, whatever that is. His face looked shrewd and wise, as though he knew a great many things. and many of them not worth knowing. Must be Abe Lucky Lucas, thought Lewis. He swam quickly over. Ho-ho! He said to his trumpet. My pleasure, replied Mr. Lucas. You are right on time. The splashdown was sensational. Welcome to the Philadelphia Zoo, which crawls with rare animals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fishes, including sharks, rays, and other fish-like vertebrates. Watch out for wild animals. This place is replete with them. Here is Mr. Lucky Lucas, leaning up against the bird house. It looks like a bird sanctuary fence. And Lewis is approaching him. So this place has snakes, zebras, monkeys, elephants, lions, tigers, wolves, foxes, hippos, rhinos, woodchucks, skunks, hawks, and owls. I seldom come here. My work confines me to the throbbing heart of the city, among the money changers. I am under great pressure for my work. How was your trip from Boston? Smooth, wrote Lewis on his slate. I made good time. What about my job? Well, that's a very happy question, replied Mr. Lucas. The job will start on October 15th. The contract has been finalized. Your place of employment is a nightclub of great renown across the river, a place of high fashion and low prices, a jumpy joint. You will be called upon to make appearances each evening, except for Sunday, and play your trumpet for the happy customers. Once in a while, you can join in a jazz group. Lewis the Swan on trumpet. The pay is very good. My spirits are lifted thinking about the pay. Wealth and happiness are around the corner for Lewis the Swan and Lucky Lucas, the great of heart. My agent's fee is 10%, a mere bagatelle. Well, how do I get to the nightclub? Asked Lewis, who only understood about half of what Mr. Lucas was saying. And a taxi cab, replied Mr. Lucas. Be at the north entrance of the zoo, Girard Avenue and 34th Street at 9 o'clock on the evening of October 15th. A night that will live in memory. A cab will await your pleasure and transport you to the club. The driver is a friend of mine. He too is under great pressure from his work. Who's going to pay for the cab? Lewis said on his slate. I am, replied Mr. Lucas. Lucky Lucas, the generous of heart, pays for the cab for Lewis the Swan. And by the way, I see you are wearing a money bag and that it is plump with moolah. I suggest from the kindness of my heart, that you turn the money bag over to me for safekeeping during your stay in Philadelphia, a place of many thieves and pickpockets. No, thank you, wrote Lewis. I will keep the money bag myself. Very well, said Mr. Lucas. And now there's one other small matter that I must bring to your attention. Most of the birds that swim in this luxury lagoon have undergone surgery. Really? Candor tells me to tell you that the tip of one wing is usually removed by the management. It's a painless operation, popular with the zoos in the world over. The word for it is pinioned, I believe. It detains the water bird and prevents them from leaving the narrow confines of this public part or the other. The balance of the bird is upset. His attempt to take off would be crowned with failure. In short, he can't fly. Sensing in advance the revulsion that you would feel towards having the tip of one of your powerful wings removed, I approached the man in charge of the birds and laid before him a proposition. He has agreed not to clip your wing. It is arranged. He is a man of honor. Your freedom of movement is assured. You will not be pinioned, but in return for this so great a favor on the part of the management of the Philadelphia Zoo, you are to give a free concert here every Sunday afternoon. For the people of Philadelphia, the peasantry who come here to refresh yourselves. Is that a deal? Yes, well, Louis, I will give a Sunday concert. Good, said Mr. Lucas. Farewell for the nonce. Be at the north entrance at 9, October 15th. The cab will await you. Play well, sweet swan. You'll be the finest thing that has happened to Philadelphia since the Constitutional Convention of 1787. Louis did not understand this, but he nodded goodbye to Mr. Lucas and swam off toward the island in the center of the lake. There, he stepped ashore, straightened his things, preened his feathers, that's to make them neat, and let's see, and rested. He rested on the little island. He was not sure what he was going to, if he was going to like his new job. He was not sure he liked Mr. Lucas, but he needed money badly, and when you need money, you're willing to put up with some difficulties and uncertainties. One good thing about the whole business was the zoo itself. It seemed like an extremely nice place in spite of what he had heard about having your wing clipped. Louis had no intention of having his wings clipped. I'll sock anybody who even tries that on me. He was pleased to see so many other water birds. There were many kinds of ducks and geese. In the distance, he saw 3 trumpeter swans. They were old residents of the lake. Their names were Curiosity, Felicity, and Apathy. Louis decided he would wait a day or two before making their acquaintance. Bird Lake has a fence around it. When the night came for him to start work, Louis polished his trumpet, put on all his things, flew over the fence, and landed at the north entrance. He was there promptly at 9. Well, he's just really good about getting places on time, isn't he? The taxi cab was there, waiting, just as Mr. Lucas had promised. Louis got in and was driven away to his new job. Ooh, look at him on stage blowing his trumpet. Cool. So that begins chapter 17, and it is named Serena. Well, it's kind of dark, and they're all excited to play his trumpet on the stage. So during the next 10 weeks, Louis got rich. He went every Sundays to the nightclub and played his trumpet for the customers. He did not like the place was big and crowded and noisy. Everyone seemed to be talking too loudly, eating too much, and drinking too much. Most birds like to go to sleep at sundown. They do not want to stay up half the night entertaining people. But Louis was a musician, and musicians can't choose their working hours. They must work when their employer wants them to. Every Saturday night, Louis collected his pay, $500. Mr. Lucas was always on hand to receive his agent fee of 10% from Louis. So that would be $50. After Louis had paid Mr. Lucas $150 left, and we would put his money in his money bag, hop into the waiting cab, and return to Bird Lake around 3 a.m. That's when musicians work, right? His money bag grew so stuffed with money, Louis was beginning to worry. He was wondering why he couldn't just get a bank account. Oh yeah, maybe it's for the Swan. On Sunday afternoons, if the weather was good, crowds of people would gather on the shores of Bird Lake, and Louis would stand on the island in the middle of the lake and give a concert. A very popular event in Philadelphia, where there usually isn't very much going on Sunday. Lewis took the concert very seriously. By playing for the people, he was earning the right to remain free and not have his wing clipped. He was always at his best on Sundays. Instead of playing jazz and rock and folk and country and western, he would play selections from the works of the great composers, Ludwig van Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and John Sebastian Bach. Music he had learned by listening to records at Camp Couscous. Couscous. Lewis also liked the music of George Gershwin and Stephen Foster. When he played Summertime from Porgy and Bess, the people of Philadelphia felt that it was the most thrilling music they had ever heard. Lewis was considered so good on the trumpet, he was invited to make a guest appearance with the Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra. Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra. So look at this. Now he's playing with a whole orchestra of musicians. Pretty cool, huh? Sounds wonderful. One day, about a week before Christmas, a great storm came up here. The sky grew dark. The wind blew a howling gale. It made a whining noise. Windows rattled. Shutters came off their hinges. It's like when we get the Santa Ana winds, right? Old newspapers and candy wrappers were picked up by the wind and scattered like confetti. Many of the creatures in the zoo became restless and uneasy. Over in the elephant house, the elephants trumpeted in alarm. Oh, not even going to try to do an elephant trumpet. Lions roared and paced back and forth. The great black cockatoo screamed. Keepers rushed here and there, shutting doors and windows and making everything secure against the awful force of the gale. The waters of Bird Lake were ruffled by the strong, mighty wind, and for a while the lake looked like a small ocean. Many of the water birds sought protection on the island. Lewis rode out the gale on the lake. In lee of the island, he faced the wind and kept paddling with his feet, his eyes bright with wonder and the strength of the blast. Suddenly, he saw an object in the sky. It was coming down out of the clouds. At first, he couldn't make out what it was. Maybe it's a flying saucer. He thought, oh my gosh, that's what I thought too. Maybe it's aliens. Then he realized it was a large white bird, struggling desperately to come in against the wind. Its wings were beating rapidly. Oh my goodness. In a moment, it splashed down and flopped ashore. It lay sprawled out as if it were almost dead. Lewis stared and stared. Then he looked again. It looks like a swan, he thought. Again. It looks like a swan, he thought. It was a swan. It looked like a trumpeter swan, he thought. It was a trumpeter swan. My goodness, Lewis said to himself. It looks like Serena. It is Serena. She's here at last. My prayers have been answered. Lewis was right. So Serena, the swan of his desiring, had been caught by the fierce storm and blown all the way across America. Okay, that's a little bit. When she looked down and saw Bird Lake, she stopped her flight almost dead from exhaustion. Lewis was tempted to rush right over, but then he thought, no, that would be a mistake. By the way, here she is. She's all sprawled out there. She's had a tough landing and she wouldn't be able to probably fly that way except if the wind was blowing her along, right? But he said, no, that would be a mistake. She is in no condition at the moment to perceive the depth of my affection and the extent of my love. She is too pooped. I will wait. I will bide my time. I will give her a chance to recover. She is too pooped. I will wait. I will bide my time. I will give her a chance to recover. Then I will renew our acquaintance and make myself known. Lewis did not go to his job that night. The weather was too bad. All night he stayed awake, keeping watch at a slight distance from his beloved. When morning came, the wind subsided. The skies cleared. The lake grew calm. The storm was. Serena stirred and woke. She was still exhausted and very mussy. Lewis stayed away from her. I'll just wait, he thought. When in love, risks, but I'm not going to risk everything with a bird who is too tired to see straight. I won't hurry, and I won't worry. Back home on Upper Red Rock Lake, I was without a voice. She ignored me because I could not tell her of my love. Now, thanks to her with the intensity of my desire and the strength of my devotion, she will hear me say, what not? Woo-hoo! I'll tell her I love her in a language anybody can understand, the language of music. You will hear the trumpet